Okay guys, welcome. We're going to start on the back of our mat. So come and just take a nice hip width stance with your feet, letting your feet just find the floor, having a little rock from side to side, shifting the weight through the toes, through the heel and the sides of the feet, trying to stay lifted through the inner arches, which we can tend to roll into and collapse as we move throughout pregnancy. And then once you find that nice steady foot, big toe, baby toe and heel are pressing down. Just start to stand still, let your eyes shut and just start to breathe through the nose. Inhale, let the belly fill, exhale, release. Breathing in through the nose. Let's do a gentle sigh out of the mouth. Inhale, belly filling up. And exhale, belly releasing. And as you're taking that breath out each time, almost feel like you're trying to pull your belly button up your belly towards your rib cage slightly. So you're drawing right down from the pelvic floor, lifting up gently as you exhale to engage the muscles gently around the pelvic floor, wrapping around your core. So let's try that again, just breathing in, relax. And as you exhale, lifting up from the base of the pelvis through the tummy. Always gentle. One more, inhale. Everything expands and relaxes. And then exhale, gently drawing up and in. Lovely. Okay, let your arms relax. We're just going to tuck the chin to the chest. I want you to bring your chin over to your right shoulder. Try to make it touch as close as it can. Roll your head back so your eyes look up. Bring your chin to the left shoulder as close to the shoulder as it can. And then drawing the chin back down to the chest. Let's go the other way. Chin to left shoulder. Let those arms hang heavy. Roll your head back. If the eyes were open, you'd be looking up. Chin to the right shoulder as far as you can, and chin through the chest. One more each direction, going to the right. Chin to the right shoulder, roll the head back, start to let your head feel heavy. Chin to the left shoulder, roll the chin forward. Final time, reversing to the left. Rolling the head back. Maybe letting those knees be slightly soft here. Chin to right shoulder, through center, and then just lift your gaze so you're looking forward and give those shoulders a roll. Soft knees, chin comes back to the chest, arms dangle forward, and we're going to roll vertebrae by vertebrae through the spine. Letting the weight of your head way to the floor. Maybe shuffling your feet out a bit wider if you find that bump is in the way on that roll down, and just keeping a nice generous bend in the knees. Don't shock the hamstrings, and then just let your eyes look in between the legs. Let your head have a roll from side to side, and then as we breathe out, pushing through the feet, begin to restack that spine. Your upper body is like a rag doll, completely dead weight hanging forward. The lower back, the middle back, and then we stand at the top, roll the shoulders down, and let's do that again. Chin tucks, breathing out, rolling through the upper, arms and head completely weightless, melting through the middle and all the way to the lower, shifting the weight maybe in the toes slightly, maybe straightening the legs slightly, having a rock forward and back. If the hands are on the floor for a bit of support, that can be lovely. And then taking the weight into your feet fully, soft knees, exhale, rolling up, pressing through the ground. The lower back rebuilds, the middle back rebuilds, and eventually the upper. Roll the shoulders. Final one. Big breath in, tuck the chin, big breath out, and melt all the way down. Once we're at the bottom of that fold, nice bend in the knees. Bring the hands and knees onto the floor and find your 4-point position. Okay, So the knees are under the hips roughly, and the hands are under the shoulders. The knees can go slightly wider here for this. It can be a little bit comfier as the bump grows. We're going to thread the needle. The right arm is going to reach to the ceiling, and we spin our chest towards the right side of the room. You want to look up towards your right thumb and squeeze your shoulder blades back and together as we inhale. Exhale, we're going to thread that right arm under the left armpit, bending the left elbow to try to allow your right shoulder and ear to find the floor. Hold it heavily. And then we're going to inhale, raise the right arm up again. Spin the chest up, armpit up, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Just whatever range works for you, in your ribs, in your abdomen, whatever feels good. Exhale, threading under, use your breath, reaching that right arm as far through the space under the left armpit as possible, trying to rest your shoulder and head on the floor. One final time, inhale, open up. Squeeze the shoulder blades, spin the chest, look up. Exhale, threading under. We're gonna hold it in that thread, letting your shoulder and ear go heavy on the ground. Maybe staying there, pushing the left hand into the floor a little bit more and spinning your chest to the left slightly. Final option here, if you've got all the weight in your right shoulder and your right ear, maybe you can bring that left arm up to the ceiling above the shoulder and wrap it around the right hand side of your body, almost reaching for my right thigh or the crease of my right hip, and you've got this lovely bind. Opening the chest to the left a little bit more. All that load in the right shoulder now. Take a breath in. Hold on the exhale and release. Left hand to floor. Push up into that 4-point position. Give the hips a little wiggle and let's go left side. So inhale, left arm up. Squeeze the shoulder blades, rotate. You might notice one side is tighter than the other. And then exhale, we're going to thread the left arm under the right armpit, and we're going to try to lower the left ear, the head, the shoulder to the floor as we bend that right elbow. Inhale, we're going to open up, remembering that the two sides of the body are always going to be different. Squeezing your shoulder blades, rotate up. Don't force the range. Just work with what you've got. Exhale, slowly thread. Reaching the left fingertips as far to the right hand side of the room as possible. Lowering the shoulder and ear heavy on the mat. Final time. Inhale, open up. Shoulder blades squeeze, chest opens, and we're expanding through the ribs. Exhale, threading through. Okay, now if we've got that head, shoulder heavy, and we feel comfortable, we're going to try to raise that right arm up to the ceiling above the right shoulder. We're going to reach the back of that arm, that hand, around the left side of the body, trying to reach for the crease of the left hip or the left thigh, and just pull your right shoulder blade back, spin your chest an inch towards the ceiling, breathing in. Hold for a breath out and release that right hand to the floor. Slowly coming up to 4-point kneeling, giving everything a little wiggle side to side, and then just reset so that the knees are under those hips and the hands are under those shoulders. Spread the fingertips for me, and we're going to slowly just start to find a neutral spine. So that's a pretty straight enough line from your head to your tailbone. And most people's neutral spine, you'll have a little dip in the lower back, but as we go through pregnancy and the bump gets bigger, that can very easily increase as the weight of the belly draws you down. I want you to draw the belly up, to draw up through the abdomen, using the abdominal muscles to keep a little bit more activity through the spine. Then we're just going to start to think about moving in that cat-cow, but I want you to go slow motion. So just take a breath in, stay where we are. And as we breathe out, I want you to start with the head, tucking the chin to your chest. Then start to round through your shoulder blades. Then find the middle back rounding, and eventually the tailbone tries to tuck under, and the glutes try to squeeze. Breathe in. Then as we exhale, begin to reach your tailbone up to the ceiling. Keep everything else rounded. The lower back is releasing. You're gonna let your belly lower towards the floor. Then the shoulder blades come down the back. We start to lift the gaze just gently to wherever feels good. Okay, starting with the head, tuck the chin. Then we start to move, rounding through the shoulders. Try to leave it just so the shoulders are moving. Then we roll around through the middle, and then eventually tuck through the tailbone. Really important to be able to segment that spine and move in separate pieces. The spine is not one big fused lump. It is lots of individual little pieces. Begin to reach your tailbone to the ceiling, so stick your bum up. Slowly let the bump lower towards the floor. Let your shoulder blades slowly draw down your back as we gently lift our gaze slightly. Okay, one final round. Exhale. Chin tucks to chest, just the chin. I was about to do everything at once. Just the chin tucks. Then once the chin is to the chest, we round our shoulder blades. Once we've got the upper back rounded, we round through the middle back and then the lower back, squeezing the bum. Inhale, reach the tailbone up to the ceiling. Slowly, slowly, the belly comes down towards the floor. The shoulder blades draw down the back, and finally the gaze lifts a little or a lot. Lovely. Find that flat back position for me. Spreading the fingertips. If the wrists, guys, need a break, come down on your forearms, or alternatively you could always roll up a towel, pop it under the heel of the palm so that your hands are at a slight angle like that. So they're not just flat, they're not totally extended, there's a little bit of an angle. Okay, now from here, whether we're on our forearms or our hands, we are going to tuck the toes. Just keep that spine neutral like we talked about earlier. Length from the head to the tailbone. And we breathe in, let the belly fall gently. And as we breathe out through the mouth, we draw the belly in. Remember when we were standing, that pull from the base of the pelvic floor, drawing up through the abdominals. That's what we want to create. So inhale, belly relaxes and expands. Exhale, lift through the pelvic floor. Gently draw that corset around your belly. Okay, inhale. Now, next time we exhale, we're going to add a lift of the knees, a hover. Inhale, lower the knees, belly fills. Have a look to your belly. We don't want to let the belly cone. So exhale, draw up, then lift the knees. Inhale to lower. So keep going through those hovers if they feel good. If not, stick to breath on the 4-point kneeling. And I want you to really focus, whether we're hovering or not, on that draw up from the base of the pelvic floor, that pull through the midline gently of your tummy to engage around the core. So breathing in to let the belly fill. Breathing out. Take the load in the arms as well, so it's not just super core heavy. Inhale, let the knees lower. One more time wherever we are, neck long, arms strong. Hold the hover for 3, 2, 1, and lower the knees. Lovely. Okay, let those toes untuck and just rock your hips back and forward a few times, releasing through the hips, through the spine and the shoulders. Lovely. Okay, now we're going to go for a little bit of a side lunge stretch. So what I want you to do is just bring your right foot nice and far out to the right hand side of your mat and your body. So it is not beside your hip, it's forward of the hip, but it's also not on the mat. We're nice and wide, maybe a 45-degree angle, maybe closer to a 90-degree, depending on how we feel. And we're turning the toes to the right. Okay, then from there, just bring the hands on the hips and just start to almost lunge into that right leg, feeling the left hip open, squeezing the glutes and pushing the hips slightly forward into it. And then push through the right foot on the floor and just come back up. So we've got left hip above left knee. Okay, so bending through the right knee more. Exhale. Inhale, push through the right foot, come back up. Okay, one more like that. Grounding through the right foot on the ground, push, push, push through the ground, squeeze the bum, feel the left hip open, and push away. Now if the balance feels good, we're gonna just raise the arms up, and I'm gonna grab right hand around the left wrist. I'm gonna lunge to the right, and then I'm gonna pull my arm, my left arm, up and over. So I'm reaching to the right hand side, over that right thigh, and I'm hopefully stretching a little bit more through the left hip and the left ribs and the left side body, and then come back up to release. 2 more, breathing out, reaching and leaning over the right side. Inhale, coming back up, final 1. Leaving out those arms, hands on hips is perfect. Focus on the hips if we need to. Squeeze the bum, reach and hold, press the ground away for 3, 2, and come up. Beautiful. Okay, hands to hips, right knee comes down, left knee is gonna come out. So left foot is turning out to the left, toes open, knee open. You'll know your angle, could be 90, could be 45, probably somewhere in between those two. And then when you're ready and it feels good, hands to hips, lunge to the left. Bending that left knee, knee goes over the foot, over the toe. We squeeze the bum, little tuck of the tailbone, and you feel the right hip open as the left hip compresses. Push away. Okay, breathing in. Exhale, lunging deep. Inhale, release. 1 more like that. Pushing hard through the floor with that left foot and pressing away. Okay, maybe we've got that overhead reach. Left hand grabs a hold of the right wrist. We're gonna lunge to the left. We're gonna lean up and over to the left. Big breath out. Squeeze the right butt cheek. Feel the right side lengthen and come back up. 2 more. Inhale to prepare. Don't let the ribs flare. Exhale, lunge and lean over the left side. Back to center. Inhale, shoulders relaxed, ribs drawn in. Little tuck of the tailbone, final 1. Reach all the way towards the left. Feel that left hip compress, right hip open, and release. Hands down, knees come back down. Beautiful. Okay, now however you need to stand up safely, maybe that's using a wall, get yourself up to standing carefully, and then a little bit of balance work. So come to find the middle-ish of your mat, and then we're gonna just get the weight, like we did at the start, even through the feet. So we're spreading through the toes, rise up on the toes and the heels a few times. We're spreading through the toes, we're pushing through the heel, and we're lifting the inner arches. Hold it where you feel stable, and then shift your weight into this left leg. Hold your right knee up in front of your hip if we can. Now, this in itself is actually the whole point of the exercise. So if you're wobbling everywhere, I want you to stand beside a wall, hold the wall, and stay exactly where you are right now. See if you can pop the hands on the hips. Right knee is lifted, does not need to be in front of your hip, it might be down here. As the bump gets bigger, the leg will get lower. And working through this right hip flexor, I'm gonna flex my right toes to my right knee and extend the lower leg long. Bend the right knee. I've also got a little softness in this standing left leg the whole time, and extend the right leg. Bending at the knee and extending at the knee. Now, some weeks you'll feel, or some days you'll feel that you can have your right knee much higher. That is not the aim. Just keep the leg up off the floor is the aim. Doesn't matter how low the leg is, just move slowly. Breathing in, control the breath. Shoulder blades back and down, stand tall. Ribs over hips, shoulders over ribs. Gaze is forward, neck is long, and we've just got 3. Feel that right quad start to burn, feel the right hip start to burn, and we lower the leg a little bit if you feel crampy through the hip. The higher the leg is held, the harder this is. Final 1. We're going to hold the leg long for 5. Maybe it's an inch higher for 3 without falling, for 2, and set the toes on the floor. Okay, give your hips a little wiggle. Now, left foot, we're going to turn our left foot out to the left. So we're going for a bit of a curtsy lunge. It creates more space for the bump, a little bit of external rotation through the hip, and a little bit more burn for the glute. So keeping the left foot turned out to the left for me. Lean forward over this left leg and bring your right toes on a line somewhere behind your left foot. Maybe you've chosen the middle of the mat as a bit of a guideline, but basically right toes are on the floor, lightly behind you. And I am always leaning forward. It's a bit like a split squat. Hands to hips. I want you to bend your left knee and your right knee, trying to bring your right knee towards the floor, and then stand up through the left leg. Now, already my back toes are as light as a feather, and I'm even trying to float them off the ground a little bit when I stand up. Now, this is hard on the balance, so let's hold a wall if we need to, a chair, whatever is handy, and just start to lower, bending the left knee out over the left foot and lift. Okay, so all of your focus is on this left leg. It's not about the back leg is just there, as light as a feather, helping us balance. Okay, now give me a few more and just focus on maybe a little bit more depth, keeping your shoulder blades drawn back as your body hinges forward over this left thigh on the way down, and we keep the body leaning forward even as we stand up. Final 2. Okay, working hard through the left foot, the left glute already, the ankle, after that standing work. Now come down for me. We're going to lean the body forward and see if we can straighten the back leg. So there's a little bend in that left knee. Okay, or a big enough bend in the left knee. See if you can lift and lower the back leg a little teeny bit up and down. Hold a wall, a chair, whatever it is if you need to. Lift and lower the right leg for 5. It's a small movement. Make sure the lower back doesn't dip. Hand on the lower back for feedback. Engage through the abdominals, lift through the pelvic floor. 2. On the 1, hold the right leg up. Can you pulse the standing left leg for 3? If you're not holding onto a wall, well done. 2. On the 1, hold and stand. Ooh, give that left butt cheek a little whack. Okay, well done. Give the legs a wiggle. From there, just take a little shuffle back to the back of your mat. Left glute has worked hard, and then just roll down through the spine. Not take too long here. Walk out and lower the knees under the hips. Okay, come to lie on your right forearm, bringing your right forearm down. You've got your right shoulder over your elbow and your forearm is nice and flat. Okay, now side planking, option 1. If you're a bit earlier on in your pregnancy and you feel good, or wherever you are and you feel really strong in your shoulder and you feel stable in your shoulder, then go for a full side plank, legs long, one stacked above the other. I am going for modified. It feels a lot better through my shoulder and it is blooming hard, so I don't need to go for the full version. Now, the modified version is heels under bum, knees bent. We are going to raise that left arm to the ceiling. I want you to drive hard through the floor with your right forearm. I want you to pull your right shoulder blade down the back, lift your right ribs up. Okay, like you're squeezing a lemon under this right armpit, hold it there. We're gonna lift those hips up. Okay, now breathe in, breathe out. Find calmness in these hard positions. Breathing in, calm the nervous system, tell your body it's safe to relax. Breathe out. Goes without saying, guys, rest when you need to. Inhale, keep lifting higher. exhale. Now if we feel good on the exhale, thread the left arm under the right hand side of the body, just a little. Inhale, open the arm up. Take your breaks when you need to. Exhale, thread under. Inhale, open up. Okay, I'm gonna reset and then I'm gonna get back in. Let's keep moving through that thread if it's there. Breathing out to reach. Inhale, open that left arm up. Final 2. Maybe you're in your modified version, but you want a little bit more. The top left leg can lift almost into a clam. That's gonna make it even harder. Maybe you're in that full version and you're sticking with it. Let's hold wherever we are for 3. Squeeze the glutes a little, lift the hips a little for 2. Let's stay with it for 1 and lower. Lovely. Okay, guys, come to actually sit on your bum for me. Well done. Sit up tall, give your shoulders a little roll. I'm gonna grab a quick little sip of water, which I forgot to do. Please do that. Goes without saying, guys, drink as much as you can throughout this. Because I'm talking so much, I generally tend to forget, but drink away. Now, we're sitting on our bums. Give your shoulders a little roll for me, up, back, and down. And then all I want you to do is bring your legs out pretty long on the mat. Bring your hands behind you on the floor, and I want you to bring your fingertips to face backward. Now, any issues through the wrist, carpal tunnel, anything like that, you can bring it gently on to the forearms, elbows under shoulders. But if we can, let's stick with the hands, fingertips point outward or backward. Okay, now, shoulder blades draw back in together and you open your collarbones up towards the ceiling. So you're broadening through the collarbones, the chest, without flaring the ribs. So draw the ribs in, tuck the tailbone almost slightly, and keep the shoulder blades back. Now, looks easy. What I want you to do is point your right toes, raise your right leg up. Flex your right toes to your knee, lower your right heel down. Keep moving just this right leg. Point the right toes, raise the right leg up. Doesn't need to be high. Flex the toes to the knee, set it down. Point the right toes, lift. Flex, lower. I'm already starting to collapse through my shoulders. Let that happen. Point, lift, flex, lower. Now try not to relax the leg on the floor. As we lower the leg, keep it hovering an inch above the ground. You've got 3. Flex, lower. Make sure that tummy is nice and active. We're not letting the ribs flare. Okay, point the toes. Final 1. Hold the leg up. Give me a little teeny pulse for 3. Soften the knee if we need to. Final 2. A little bit of a bent leg is going to be a nice regression. Hold it up on the 1. Leg is shaking. And set it down. Okay, relax that right leg. We're going to lift the left. Point the toes. Raise the left leg up. Ooh, left leg for me goes a lot higher. Flex the toes to the knee. Lower. Tap to the floor. Point the toes. Open the chest. Lift the leg. Flex the toes to the knee, lower. Point, raise, flex the toes, lower. Okay, now try not to relax the left leg on the ground now, unless we need to. Hold it an inch above the floor. Point the toes, chest open, lift the leg. Flex, lower. Remember, bend the knee to make this a little bit less intense on the hip. Flex, and lower. Give me 2 more. Feel the hip and the quad working very hard. Feel the chest open and the upper back work. Final 1 coming up. Let's point and raise that leg up. Can you give me a pulse? I'm going to bend my knee as I lift and lower from the hip for 3, 2. On the 1, hold it up and relax. Okay, beautiful. Give your shoulders a wiggle. I'm going to get you to very slowly lie onto your back. So how you do that is by rolling onto one side and then very gently rolling onto your back. Feet on the floor. Also remember, guys, at the start of your pregnancy, that will not be as difficult but remember to change how we get up and down off the floor when we are getting bigger. Now, if you feel dizzy or lightheaded at any stage when we're on our back, I'm going to get you to roll to your side, take a break, and maybe come back in and see if it's any better. Leave this out if we need to. Feet are on the ground, toes pointing forward, and legs are about hip width apart. Arms relaxed by your side. Push through the big toes, the baby toes, the heel, and I want you to lift your hips up. Now, if I reach my fingertips towards my feet, my heels, they're not a mile away from my heels. So heels are pretty close to the bum, which means they're probably underneath the knees, which is what we're after. Chin has a tuck to your chest. Tailbone is tucking under. So in other words, we're not sticking our bum out to the floor, flaring the ribs and extending the spine. We're doing the opposite. We're tucking the tailbone under, squeezing the bum. We're almost rounding the lower back slightly and engaging around the belly, hugging the baby. Okay. Now, from here, we're just going to tap the tailbone to the floor and lift. Inhale, tailbone taps. Exhale, lift. Go for 3. Breathing in to lower, keep that spine long. Exhale to lift. 2 more. Keep those knees like a set of train tracks. Don't let them fall out or in. Nice and active through that gait. Hold the hips up for me and see if we can tolerate this. If not, just stay up here and hold it dead still, which is hard enough. See if we can tolerate bringing our right leg up to the ceiling, pointing the right toes. We're going to lift and lower the hips just for a little pulse for 5. Have a look at your hips and try to keep them level. Don't let the weight of your right leg weigh down. 3. Push through the left foot hard. 2. On the 1, hold. Hold it up there for longer if you can for 3. 2. Right foot down. Keep your hips up. Squeeze the bum for me. Blow the air out of the belly. Hug the baby. Maybe the left leg can come up. Remember, leave out these single leg options. We lower and lift just a few inches. Make sure that left leg isn't or the hip, isn't falling to the floor. 3. 2. Holding up on the 1. Push hard through the floor with that right foot. 3. 2. Set both feet down. Lovely. Okay. Now keeping up in that bridge, I want you to squeeze your bum. Lift your heels an inch or 2 off the floor and imagine that you're dragging the ball of the foot back to your bum along the ground, and you should feel the hamstrings, the glutes light up. Maybe the arms raise up above those shoulders and we stay there for 5. How hard can you drag those feet? For 3. Squeeze your butt cheeks. For 2. Breathe through the nose. For 1. Hold it up and roll slowly down. Beautiful. Okay. Then guys, roll on to your right side, your left side, whatever it is, and just come back for me onto your bum. Now, take a little second here. Let the blood rush to your head again. Let any dizziness or little bit of wobbliness just release. Breath in, breath out. Take as long as you need to here. Okay, now we're gonna go for a reverse table. So I want you to bring your hands down on the floor again, behind you. Fingertips point back or sideways. Bend your knees and bring your feet on the floor, a bit like that bridge we just did. And then all I want you to do is pull your shoulder blades back and together, chest open, feet in front of knees, hip width apart, and we're gonna exhale. See if you can lift the hips, push through the feet and the hands, and come up into this reverse table position, basically like a little box. Squeeze the bum. I keep my chin drawn to my chest. Inhale, tap the bum down. Exhale, lift. Squeeze the bum like that bridge, tuck the tailbone. Keep the chin tucked, or maybe let it fall back a little if it feels okay. Inhale, tap the bum. Exhale. Now what you should feel is an amazing stretch through the collarbones, the chest, as we lift up. Inhale to lower. Rest when you need to, not here for long. Give me 4. Inhale to tap. My neck is straining a little, so I'm going to keep that chin drawn to the chest as I lift my hips. Inhale to tap the bum. You've got 2. squeeze it up. Inhale as we lower, final one. We're gonna pull the shoulder blades back, lift the hips, squeeze the glutes, draw the belly in gently for 3. Push through the hands, open the chest up, 2. Hold on the 1 and lower. Lovely. Okay, roll the shoulders. I'm gonna just flip sides. We're all gonna come onto our left forearms, just so I can see you and hopefully you can see me. Left forearm, elbow is under the shoulder. I'm gonna modify my side plank, knees bent, feet under the line of the bum. And then we're all going to juice that lemon under the left armpit. We're gonna pull our left shoulder blade so it's plugged in position. And this is the key. If we lose this plugged position, we break, we reset, we come back up. Okay, right arm up, left ribs lifted. Breath in. Let's exhale to lift. Okay, hips are up, chest is open, glutes are even squeezing a little. Let's breathe in. Find that calm, that stillness. Breathe out. Okay, shoulder blades back. Inhale. Take your breaks when you need to. Exhale. Now if we feel good, we start to breathe out and thread the needle. Right arm under left ribs. Inhale, open it up. Reset if we need to. If something isn't comfortable, get back up in it. Exhale, threading. Inhale to open. Now have you lost that lemon under your left armpit? Let's juice it, let's squeeze it, let's hold it. All the primary focus here is on shoulder stability. It's not about how many thread needles you can do, if any at all. It's about left shoulder control. Now maybe we're in that full version and we're getting it a little bit tight. If that's the case, we just hold the arm up still, modify, take your break when you need to. Maybe we're in that modified version, but we want more. We can lift the top leg. Give me final 2 threads. Oh, inhale to open. Side planks are the worst. Final one. You're gonna feel great after it. Let's hold that arm up and stay there wherever we are. Could be on the knees, could be straight legs. We hold it for 3. Juice the lemon. 2 and release. Ooh, come on to the hands and knees for me. Let your knees open, let your hips reach back and your arms reach forward. Lower into a child's pose. Inhale, exhale. We're gonna reach both hands over to the left side of our mat. Bring your left hand above your right hand and sink your hips down. Now I want you to feel that pull, that stretch, that length running from your right fingertips through your right armpits, the right side of your ribs, down to your right hip bone where you're weighing your butt cheek towards the heel. Breathe in, fill that space. Exhale, lengthen it. Breathe in, fill that space. Exhale, lengthen it up. Hands walk to the right side of the mat. Right hand on top of left. And we sink down. Stretching our left fingertips away from the left armpit, through the left ribs, right to your left hip bone where you're pushing your left butt cheek to the left heel. Breathe in, let's find space and breathe into that left hand side space. Exhale, lengthen it out. Inhale, fill it up. And exhale, lengthen it out. Bring your arms back to center. We're going to just come into a 4-point position. Tuck the toes. Lift your hips, drop your heels. You're in a downward dog. And then just letting the blood rush to your head, your feet. Take a breath. Reverse the hands to the toes. We're in a fold and we slowly stand. No rush. Let the blood start to flow back to your head. Can always feel a little bit dizzy. Take your roll of your shoulders I'm going to grab a little drink, and then we're going to do our standing work on the other side. So grab a drink, we're going to stand middle of the mat roughly, and then we're going to get the weight in those feet nice and even. We're going to push to the right foot so it's got all of our weight. We've got a wall if we need it, and we're going to lift the left knee up in front of the hip, or generally just up off the floor. So hands to hips if we can. Notice one side might be weaker or more stable than the other. Work hard in this right leg, keep the knee soft. We're going to extend the left leg out straight, and we're going to bend. Extending that left leg, just moving at the knee, and bend. Okay, shoulders back, chest open. We've got shoulders above the ribs, above the hips, and let that belly be soft on the inhale, and just gently hug the baby on the exhale. Give me last few. For me, this leg is lower and more wobbly, so I've got the wall. Just work with what you've got. Okay, final one coming up. We're going to straighten that left leg. We're going to see if we can hold it maybe higher than we want to for 5. Stay there for 4, 3, up an inch, 2, and release. Okay, give your legs a little wiggle. Now, curtsy with the right foot turning to the right. Lean forward, left toes behind you, and you've got this turned out position from your right hip, through your right knee, through your right foot. Left toes on the mat as light as a feather. Hands to hips or hand to wall. We are going to lunge down in that right leg. Left knee bends as the right knee comes over the right toes. Okay, my balance is worse on this side. I'm going to grab a wall or this pole so I don't fall. We're going to lower and we're going to lift. Sometimes just holding on to something for a few reps is all we need. Now, as we lower, we are generously hinging that straight spine over the right thigh. We are keeping the body leant forward even as we stand up. So there's no weight, well, as little weight as possible in that back left leg. All about getting the weight through the right leg. We go just for 4. Nice and steady, working through whatever range we have available. Don't force it. Final few coming up. Remember to breathe through that belly. Don't hold your breath ever. Final 1. Come down for me. Now, leaning forward, the back leg is going to lift and the right knee stays bent. We're going to see if we can tap the left toes down and lift them up. I'm holding on, and we're just focusing on how heavy the right leg can be, how heavy that right foot can be. Don't let the lower back go. Draw the belly in. For 2. On the 1, you're going to hold that left leg up. Can you pulse your right leg up and down? 3. Nearly there. 2. Hold. Whew, and stand. Got pins and needles in that leg. Shake it out. Well done. Very well done. Okay, coming down to the back of our mat, guys. Breath in. Let's slow everything down. Heart rate is high after working that glute. Take a moment to get your breath back. Shut your eyes. Okay. Soft knees, tuck the chin, roll yourself down and lower to the floor. Now, our last little bit of fun. So we're going to bring shoulders over wrists, knees under hips. What I want you to start to do is think about keeping your hips pretty much dead above your knees, back flat. Now, we're going to go for a tricep dip. We spread the fingers. We keep the core drawn in. I want you to lower your elbows as close to the floor behind your wrists as you can. Now, lean the body forward as you do that. Don't let your bum go to your heels. So the weight is in the triceps. Straighten the arms. Okay. Bum does not go back. Forearms lower towards the floor as close as they can. Keep the weight in the arms. Straight arms. Spine straight. gaze slightly forward of those fingers. Lower, gaze towards the thumbs, exhale, straight arms. Okay, now hold the arms straight. Reach the right arm past the right ear, set it down, give me a tricep dip. Left arm past the left ear, nothing moves through the spine or the body. Set it down, tricep dip. Keep the hips above the knees. Right arm reaches, set it down, tricep dip, weight forward, not back. Left arm reach, set it down, tricep dip. Just leave out the triceps and go for the arm reaches if that is enough. There's no doming through the belly. It's all about keeping those elbows narrow as we do that dip. We've got final two, one more reach on each side. Let's keep that breath under control. Working hard through the back of those arms. Last one, guys, hands down. We're gonna bend the elbows, keep them narrow. Can we pulse the forearms? An inch down, an inch up for 3. Weight forward more, 2. On the 1, hold it low, 3, 2, straighten the arms, beautiful. Okay, before we think about it, bring your forearms down, elbows under shoulders, knees under hips, tuck the toes, hands are flat. Take a breath in. Straight spine. Let's exhale, see if we can draw up through the pelvic floor. Blow the air out of the belly, hug the baby. Look at your belly for a little bit of feedback. Inhale. Soft belly, let it fill. Exhale, lift through the pelvic floor. Hug the baby. Let's work through these shoulders now. If it feels good, inhale. Pushing through the forearms as we exhale, let's hover the knees. Inhale, knees down, belly fills. Exhale, knees up, hug the baby slow. Inhale, exhale. Doing as few of these or as many of these as you need to feel great. We go final 2 at this pace. You can maybe squeeze in a few more if it's there, or maybe you're in a child's pose and you're swiftly ignoring me, which is perfect. Listen to the body. Final 1, I'm gonna hold it up for 5, 4, 3, 2, feel the shoulders down the spine, 1, and release the knees. Well done. Guys, drop it into a puppy pose. I'm gonna what I'm gonna do is bring my knees hip width apart and my feet open wider than the mat. Okay, so a little bit of a different puppy pose. My hands stretch forward just a step or 2. Let's lower the heart rate. Let's stick the bum up to the ceiling and lower the chest to the floor. So I want you to push your hips back slightly, tailbone up, forehead towards the mat. Now my feet are creeping in. I want you to open your feet, your shins, wider than the knees, wider than the mat. If the forearms can relax on the floor, let them. Okay. One more breath. Inhale. My shoulders are shaking. Exhale, release. Beautiful. Okay, just coming up onto the hands and the knees. Bring your left foot towards the outside of your left hand. We're going to bend the left knee. Now some of you, I like to have a little bit more of a turnout through my left leg to create space for the bump. Some of you might want to tuck the back right toes in a minute and lift the right knee up. I'm going to keep my right knee down, toes untucked. We're going to reach the left arm to the ceiling. A bit like that thread the needle we did at the beginning. I let my left knee fall open a little bit, creating space through the pelvis and the bump for the bump. And then we're going to see if we can lower the left hand to the floor on the inside of the foot, or maybe even the forearm to the floor. Left arm opens. Squeeze your shoulder blades and start to relax through the hips. Lower the forearm or the hand. Final one. Arm up. Exhale to lower. Hand down. Shift your hips back. Left knee comes under the hip. Right foot to the outside of the right hand. Just lower those hips into that lunge. You can have the back toes tucked and the left knee lifted, or knee down, toes untucked. My right knee is open. And I'm just having a little wiggle. Right arm comes up to the ceiling. Inhale, spin the chest. Exhale, I'm going to lower my hand or my forearm somewhere inside the foot. Don't force it. Inhale, open up. Squeeze your left butt cheek for me. Exhale, lower. Final time. Inhale, open. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Lower on the exhale. Hands to the floor. Hips back. Right knee under the hip. And then guys, just see if you can bring your feet to turn out on the mat or wider than the mat, and your hips down into a deep squat. So take your time to get there, have a little wiggle once you're there, and find a position that is comfortable through the hips. Feels natural through the feet. My heels come in and toes come out quite a lot. And then I'm just creating space for the bump by pushing my knees out. My hands come together in a bit of a prayer. Closing my eyes. Starting to relax through the brain, the body, the muscles. That's an awful lot of work, regardless of carrying a baby inside you. So very, very well done. Doesn't matter if you had to leave out bits or take loads of rests. You always gain so much just from arriving on the mat, taking this time for yourself and your baby. And you will gain so much more than you even know from it. So start to have a little wiggle. One knee comes in, other knee comes out, just shifting from right to left. Chest nice and upright, hips nice and low. Breathing in softly to the belly. Exhaling softly out. It's nice to use that little bit of a sigh. It actually calms the body and the brain. Telling yourself there's no danger, there's no panic, there's no stress, there's no rush. Holding in the center. Inhale. Gentle sigh out. Start to make your exhale longer than your inhale. As you breathe out, try to feel the muscles around your pelvis, the pelvic floor, the hips. Try to just feel them relax. Inhale. And just slowly, I'm going to bring my fingertips towards the floor. I'm going to find a fold where my legs straighten, my eyes look in between my legs. Breathing in, sigh it out. Soften your arms, your head, your neck. Soften your knees. Breath in, sigh it out. Slowly push through the feet. For the final time, let's rebuild through the spine. Very slowly at the top. Let your shoulders have a roll. Get the breath back. Take a little second in case we feel dizzy. And when you feel nice and settled, very, very well done. Thank you so much, guys. That was tough. Don't know if it's just me today. That was really, really hard. Very, very well done. And I will see you next time.